Sherm Chester with you on this edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum podcast, and our special guest from Seacoast Media Group and all the periodicals that are part of that group, Jay Pinsonnault. And, of course, you can catch Jay's byline along with Brandon Brown and the gang from Seacoast Media Group at seacoastonline.com, where I get all of my sporting news, Jay. Good morning.
We appreciate you going there. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I before we get into schoolboy and schoolgirl sports that are wrapping up, the pairings for the tournament will be coming out. We'll get to that in our second half. I want to start off with a little bit of a history lesson. Now, Fenway Park is someplace near and dear to both me and Jay, okay? I will say that right up front. And Jay and I got to do something very special in my mind's eye this past week. We got to go to Fenway Park and sit on the monster, the green monster seats. And that, Jay, was something special. But before we get there, I want to just go back to July 18th of 1962. And that was...
I wasn't around.
Well, I was, and it was my very first game at Fenway Park. I think I pointed out the other day all the seats I've ever sat in at Fenway Park.
You've got a few.
Yeah, quite a few is right. And that day, it was a bus tour or bus group, the Knights of Columbus hosting a game down at Fenway, the Red Sox versus the Yankees. And my dad took me, and my Uncle Phil took my cousin Greg, and we went down to Fenway and sat in those blue grandstand seats. I remember it well. And at the time, my cousin Greg and I were Yankee fans, because that was the days of the M&M boys, Mantle and Maris. And matter of fact, I remember this game still, and who pitched that game for the Yankees. And I became a fan of his for the rest of his career and on. And that was Jim Bouton. Jim Bouton, the Bulldog, pitched that game. And I thanks to Baseball Almanac, I went back, Jay, and dug out the box score for that day. The Yankees killed the Red Sox 12-4. The winning pitcher was Bouton. His record became 3-1. It was a complete game for Bouton. And the losing pitcher was Bill Mom Bouquet for the Sox, who only went a third of an inning. It was a bullpen game that day. And Mantle and Maris had their usual days. Maris went 2 for 4. He did not have a home run, but Mantle went 1 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBI in that game. I'm just looking over on the Red Sox side of things. A couple of hits. Pete Runnels had a hit, and Lou Clinton, he had a hit for the Sox. A big day for Eddie Brousseau. Eddie Brousseau had 2 for 3 day and 1 RBI. So, like I said to you, that's history for me. Started it all off, and I've been to many seats at Fenway Park over the years with family and friends. And I'll tell you, the monster seats had eluded me up until this past week. And tell people how that came about last weekend.
Yeah, it's when Sherm and I went to the 40-year celebration of the Red Sox 1986 World Series team back at the very beginning of the season. And on the ride down, we were talking about the watching a game from the Green Monster. And I know that Nesson in the past few years have had one game where Dave O'Brien and Lou Merlone and the Nesson crew broadcast from the Monster. So we talked about, with Sherm's connection to Dave O'Brien, how it would be nice to get up on the Monster for the game that Nesson is up there broadcasting. So there was an announcement. They had Wally come on the broadcast with Merlone and Dave O'Brien, and it was announced that Tuesday against the Atlanta Braves, they would be their annual broadcast from the Monster seat. So I sent Sherm a text. My schedule was clear to go. Asked Sherm if he would like to that the Nesson broadcast was that day. If his schedule was clear, let's take a drive down to Fenway and take in a game from 37 feet up, and both schedules aligned. And it was a mutually convenient night for the both of us to go down there. And being a season ticket holder, I have the privilege of they give out, I think, a limited amount of what they call diamond passes. I won mine in an season ticket holder auction last year, and that diamond pass allows me to basically watch the game from any spot in Fenway except for like a private suite. So that includes being up on the Monster, and I can bring a guest who has a ticket to the game. I can bring a guest with me up on the Monster or the Sam deck or the pavilion level, basically wherever there's a spot available. We don't have actual seats up there, but we have access up there. And so get to the Monster. We met up with Dave O'Brien before the game and found our way down to the front row of the Monster in center field for batting practice. We were able to get in early. We took in the majority of the Red Sox batting practice and all of the Braves batting practice. And we're sitting there at one point. I forget who was batting for the Braves, but there was one moonshot that went off the light tower that is closest to the Red Sox and visitors bullpen. It hit off the light tower and it came screaming back towards us. And I thought Sherm was going to get hit in the back of the head with this home run ball. So I gave him a little warning. Sherm. And it hit on the bar stool right behind where Sherm was sitting. So
almost got
it
me.
Escaped him. And what's funny is that after batting practice, we went out to get some food and came back to the Monster after having a little dinner. We get to the seats about, I would say about 6:20. It was a 6:45 game, and there are a couple empty seats in the front row of the Monster, so we just sat there. No one was sitting in the seats that we were in, so basically we watched 9 innings of the game in the front row of the Monster. So it was a great night for me, and it's always a great night when you can watch a game from the Monster, and I really enjoy the times where I am able to go to a game and bring someone who has never been up there before, because it is a special seat, one of the most special seats in all of Major League Baseball. So I've been up there probably 100 times, and but it's enjoyable for me every time I go. But I really enjoy being able to take someone who's never been up there just to get their impressions of watching a game from such a unique vantage point. So the Red Sox ended up losing that game, but that was secondary. It was a great night. And hanging with Sherm for 9 innings on the Monster was certainly a game I'll never forget. And we were able to meet up with Dave O'Brien after the game and grabbed a couple photos. And all in all, it was a great night. I got home before midnight, so that was good. Then get to work. And I was probably working till like 3 in the morning to make sure all our high school coverage was up online for 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. So all in all, it was a great night, and would love to hear Sherm's take on his first 9 innings of watching Red Sox baseball up on top of the Green Monster.
At the end of the game, Mr. O'Brien came by. We had a couple of minutes with him, like you say, at the beginning of the game. And then after the game, he gave us a couple of minutes and photos, like you said. And what I said to him, I know the game didn't go our way, but to quote one of his best buddies, Dick Vitale, the phrase he loves to use, awesome, baby, awesome. Those seats, that's the way to call it. It's awesome. If you're a baseball fan, the perspective is where you want to be, because I said to Jay, when I used to watch my son play baseball, I always, if I could, would stay in center field, a little off the middle mark, so I could watch him. He was a pitcher. And best perspective, as far as I was concerned, because you're looking in, not over the umpire's shoulder like most people like to do. Wow. As a fan, I just sat there, took it all in, and we were so lucky. You're right. We were so lucky that whoever had those seats didn't show.
Yeah.
I was anticipating standing. I really was. And when you said, well, maybe if they don't show by the 3rd or 4th inning, we're golden, and we were. It was amazing. We were right on the lip. So if a ball had hit in front of us, it was a home run. It was on that lip on top of the Green Monster, and then we were right behind it. I guess Nesson had some sort of a review show, because my buddy in Jacksonville, Dan, sent me a copy of it, and it has you and I sitting next to each other. I had mentioned you and I were going, but he had no idea where we were going to be. I'll tell you, that was quite a view. Quite a view. I mean, I'll never forget that. That was the ultimate seat, as far as I'm concerned.
What Tuesday night proves, not that neither one of us had any qualms about this, but you're a Bluehawk, I'm a Warrior, so Warriors and Bluehawks can get along and have a good night. It was good.
That's right. Good. That's right. We're a family. I mean, like our football coach Bill Ball has said, with the Exeter Winnicott rivalry, it's a community thing. It's tournament time now.
I would expect Winnicott to finish in the 8-9 game, face Goffstown in the first round, and then have the whoever was able to get out of that 8-9 game has the challenge of facing a rested Trinity, who will have their number 1 available, where whoever comes out of that 8-9 game will have their 2. So then Exeter would host whoever the number 10 is, which I believe could be Wyndham, either Wyndham or Concord. I think one of those teams is who Exeter will see in the first round of the Division I baseball tournament.
How deep do they go? How far down? Where's the cutoff? The Mendoza line?
15.
15? Okay.
Yeah, 15 teams make it. Trinity, the top seed, is clinched the top spot, and then you have there's a pretty big group of teams. You get Dover at 16-4. Bedford goes into today's game 15-4. Pinkerton's 15-4. So if Bedford wins and Pinkerton wins, there's a 3-way tie for second place, all at 16-4. And I think Pinkerton would get the tiebreaker there if that situation comes about, and then either Bedford would be 3 or 4, then the other team would be the other one. And then you have Bishop Girton, which has played phenomenal baseball this year. They're coming in at 14-5, and Londonderry's 14-6. And then you got Exeter at 12-7, Goffstown 11-7, Winnicott 11-8, Concord 11-9. So there's 11 teams here with double-digit wins, and it just shows that Division I baseball tournament is going to be fun in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, again, Trinity with the bye, and I want to ask you a question about that in a second. But it was last year Pinkerton, was hot, and the Bluehawks took them down. I mean, it was a case of do or die, and I think they surprised Pinkerton last year. But go back to the bye system. Are you in favor of that?
I think it rewards the best team, and it puts them in a very good advantage, because when you only have one bye, they're the only team that does not have to basically burn their ace in a first round game, which they will have their ace available against whoever they face in the second round, where whoever faces them most likely use their number 1 in the first round. So not only do they not have their 1, but they would have their number 2 pitcher going against the number 1 team's number 1 pitcher and coming off rest. So that didn't really answer your question, but I guess I would. It puts them in a unique advantage where they're the only team that gets that. And I guess if you're the number 1 team, you earn that advantage. So there's pros and cons with that. I specifically think it's a unique situation with only one team getting a bye. Maybe I would include the tournament expand to 16 teams and have the top 2 teams get a bye, where then you can have multiple teams on the same playing field, I guess you could say, moving on. So the way it is now, it definitely rewards the best team in the regular season, and that certainly has been Trinity, which is 17-1 with its lone loss coming to Pinkerton, and that was way back on when was that? That was on May 2nd. Pinkerton was able to beat them 10-8, and Trinity's just been phenomenal ever since, scoring in double digits in all but 2 of their final 8 games, and only allowing more than 2 runs on 2 of those games. So Trinity's definitely the clear-cut favorite. However, that being said, I think I said a couple weeks ago, Dover is going to be a very strong team in the Division I tournament. They would be a tough out. Pinkerton's always there. Londonderry's always there. Bedford's has a very good team. We'll see them today. And Bishop Girton has played better than a lot of people thought going into the season. So Trinity is the favorite, but I would not be surprised if someone else is holding up the trophy at the end of the season. And don't count out the defending champion Bluehawks. They have 2 very good pitchers in Ethan Battles and Nolan Engler. They end the season not in the strongest position, losing their final 2 games, 4-3 at home against Dover, and then 11-5 on Tuesday at Holman Stadium against Bishop Girton. But when you have Battles and Engler at the top of your rotation, they can beat anybody as well. So it's going to be a fun tournament, and we'll see what team's standing at the end.
Now, let's just project ahead, and I don't want to put the jinx on anybody, but if the Warriors advance in that position, in the playoffs, and have to take on Trinity, the strategy. There's a resting period in between as far as the starting pitchers.
It's Wednesday, Saturday. Wednesday, Saturday would be the 4 days.
Okay. So the quarterfinals would be a week from tomorrow.
Okay. Semifinals would be the following Wednesday, championship game the following Saturday.
Okay, so from Coach Aboud now, what would be the strategy?
Harvey Reynoso, I think he gets the ball on Wednesday, whoever we play, whether it be Goffstown in the 8-9 game or if it's Exeter in the 7-10 game. And then if they were to advance out of that first round game and move on to the quarterfinals, I think it could be Coates, it could be Fritz, it could be starting. They would start one of those 2, and who knows what happens there, because it's the end of the season. So whoever's available to throw will throw, right, and figure it out. But try to win that game and then adjust and. If you were to advance, adjust, and try to win the following game. So teams definitely need at least three pitchers, probably 4, to get through 2 weeks of the playoffs. But the games are spread out where I think head coaches can kind of manipulate pitch counts and who's pitching where to keep their top 3 pitchers in most of the innings that would be played for a team that were to advance to either the semifinal or the championship game.
Trinity, who's their stud?
They got a kid named Ellison. I saw Ellison pitch at Exeter on it was a holiday Monday, I believe it was, and he pitched again. No, it was a Friday because Ray Plant started for Exeter, and Plant threw well in that game, and so we saw Ellison against Winnicott when we played them at Gill Stadium. But I think their number 1 kid is a kid named Brady Searoyce. Not really familiar with him, but they have 2 or 3 different very good pitchers. But the thing with Trinity is they have a very balanced, athletic, powerful lineup where there are no easy outs 1 through 9. And a lot of these high school teams, you get down to like your 6 or 7, or your lineup gets a little bit weaker as you go down the order, but there is no weakness in Trinity. 1 through 9 can hit well, can hit to all fields, average power. So Trinity has good pitching, but I think it's their offense that's going to beat up on some pitchers in the tournament and get them to the end. And then championship game, who knows what happens.
One team I just wanted to mention that it kind of surprised me in a way, but then I think you have told me early on that Dover was going to be a factor, and you said just a little few minutes ago that they're probably going to wind up in either second or third place, depending on how everything shakes out.
Yeah, Dover's legit. The Dover has they're very strong, not only this year, but they have a very good junior varsity team. They have a lot of kids on their bench, on their varsity bench, who would be playing and starting at a lot of the D1 teams. But they have pitching. They have Taylor Teague, a left-hander. He's just phenomenal. He pitches to he strikes guys out. He induces ground balls. He's a very strong pitcher. I would say he's probably their number one. And then you got a kid named James Claxton, who's had a good year. You got Michael Gorman, a junior, who's thrown a no-hitter this season. And they're just strong up and down the lineup again. They get Sam McGregor leading off. He plays a great center field. You got this huge first baseman, a left-handed slugging Daniel Conrad, who's very good. And then a second baseman who's really come out of nowhere this year for Dover, Bjorn Miller. He goes by Bear. His nickname is Bear. He's had a great year at second base for the Green Wave and head coach Scott Dubbin. And they're just strong. And they get a freshman named Ben Cheek, right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. He's had a very strong freshman season with the Green Wave. You got a kid named Connor Sprague in the outfield. That's another one where their lineup is very deep as well. And if Trinity and Dover face off in the championship game, that would be a great game to see. Those teams started the year back on April 13th. Trinity ended up winning 7-1, but I think errors kind of play. If I remember correctly, errors kind of plagued Dover in the field that game, and it was a lot closer than a 7-1 final score. But Dover's has been phenomenal all season. They've lost to Bedford 5-4. They lost to Londonderry 6-4, and their only other loss came on Monday against Pinkerton. Actually, Dover was labeled the home team because they don't have a home field this year, but it was played at Pinkerton in the rain, sloppy field conditions. Pinkerton ended up winning that game 5-0, and then Goffstown ended their regular season on Wednesday with a 10-0 victory over Goffstown, a very good team. So Dover's legit. They're gonna. I've been telling people they probably have like a 6 or 7 year window where they should be right there in the thick of things with the best of Division I baseball. So if it's not Exeter, if it's not Winnicott or Portsmouth, who got into the tournament yesterday with a 5-2 win over Salem, it was basically Portsmouth and Salem were battling for that final spot in Division I, that final number 15 spot. So basically yesterday's game served as a playoff game where whoever won was moving on and whoever lost was done for the season. So there's a lot of good baseball being played out here on the Seacoast. And right now I think Dover's the top. And then Exeter and Portsmouth and Winnicott. And Spalding had a good year, too.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Red Raiders.
A tough stretch lately, but they had a nice win yesterday over Nashua North, 4-1 on senior night. Hunter Spencer threw six and a third innings of, I think, 2-run ball and allowed, I think, 4 hits, struck out 8. He's had a good year. He's going to play he's going to play in college next year up in Maine. And Brandon Scammon, another great senior on the Spalding Red Raiders. He's going on to play college ball. So Spalding had a good season. They had a tough stretch there in the middle, but they're in the tournament as well. So all the Seacoast teams in a 15-team Division I baseball tournament field, all 5 Seacoast teams, Dover, Portsmouth, Exeter, Winnicott, and Spalding, all got into the tournament. And I don't remember the last time that happened where all 5 teams were in the playoffs.
Well, there you go. We're well represented. Now, what about the Clippers? Who will they start? Who's their game pitcher, number 1 pitcher?
Yeah, number 1 pitcher there is Xavier Lampert. He's also a very powerful left-handed hitting, slugging first baseman when he's not pitching. He's going to go play at St. Michael's next year in Vermont, a decent Division II program. So Lampert's their number 1, and Coach Hopley, who's been, I think this is year 31 for Hopley over at Portsmouth this year. Wow. He has played 11 first-year varsity players. So to get into the Division I tournament, playing 11 first-year players, whether it be freshmen or sophomores, that's pretty impressive. They started the season, I think they were 1-8, and they finished 7-12 and got that final spot. So I think the future over in Portsmouth is bright as well.
On the Division II, Hollis Brookline leads it going into the tourney. St. Thomas Aquinas 14-5 record. What are their chances in the tourney?
Yeah, we had a good look at we being Winnicott had a good look at St. Thomas, and they smoked it. They smoked us. They really took it to us on Memorial Day Monday. They beat us 11-4. They're playing their best baseball right now. They've won 5 games in a row to end the regular season. Eric Wells, former Marshwood head coach, is in his first year with the Saints. He took over for Carson Cross, Exeter High legend. Carson, he went over to the Governor's Academy in Newburyport to continue and take over that baseball program. And that brought in Dave Morissette, another Exeter legend, brought Eric Wells over from Marshwood to St. Thomas. And Wells is one of the better coaches in the Seacoast, not only the Seacoast, the state of New Hampshire. So I think they're playing their best baseball right now. And as you said, I think they're 14-5. They might be the number 4 seed, but I would not be surprised at all if St. Thomas is not only is in the championship game in 2 weeks up in Manchester, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if St. Thomas were to win the Division II state championship. And there's in Oyster River, they're 12-5 as well in the Division II. Seacoast has a very good representation in Division II as well.
And I got to mention in Division IV, the Newmarket Mules, 16-0 going into the tournament. You know much about the Newmarket Mules?
Yeah, I believe they're only one of 2 teams left in the state of New Hampshire that is undefeated. They're beating teams like that. They've won games 28-0, 20-0, 35-3. Wow! They played 2 games against Wilton this year. One win was 35-3. One game was 28-0. They've scored multiple. They've scored in double figures in all but 3 of their games, and they have 7 shutouts on the year. So I think they are definitely the favorite in Division IV to win it. Right now, Sunapee is 14-2, and when Newmarket did not play Sunapee this year, so that's always interesting when the top 2 teams in the division do not face each other during the regular season. So you really don't know who has the better. Who could have the advantage going into that game, but I would predict a Sunapee Newmarket Division IV final in Manchester. So we could have Seacoast teams in Division I, Division II, and Division IV for the state championship Saturday up at Northeast Delta Dental Stadium in Manchester.
I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I think that'll be some fantastic baseball. Everybody's been saying that it's a well-balanced year, especially in Division I. So, hey, let the chips fall where they may, and everybody come out swinging and throwing the ball. That's all that matters. In lacrosse, I just wanted to briefly touch on the standings. Again, we have no pairings, fixed pairings from the NHIAA yet. Bedford finished off the boys lacrosse season with a 15-3 record, tied with Pinkerton. I don't know how they'll break that out. I don't know if they play each other during the season. Let me just take a quick peek at the schedule. Bedford, Pinkerton, how did that come out, or did they play? Okay, Bedford
won that game 14-11 back on May 21st.
Right, so Bedford would have the top seed then. And then you've got Girton right behind them, Dover at 12-5 behind Girton, and then the Exeter Bluehawks at 11-6 going into tournament time.
Well, there's two great Seacoast teams here in Division I with Dover and Exeter. They faced off one time in the beginning of midway through the season, and Exeter had their way with the 20-6 win, but Dover ended their year with 5 straight wins, and they're playing very good right now. Head coach Chris Ketchum at Dover has coached most of these guys since they started out playing lacrosse as young kids, and he has 2 of his own sons on that team, and they're playing very well. And Matt Brewster has the Bluehawks playing well, and I know they're going to be very competitive. They have taken a little bit of a hit in the last couple weeks. They've gone 1-3 in their final 4 games. Their only win coming against Nashua South, 22-4. But they lost against BG, they lost against Bedford, and then they lost the second game to BG. So, and those are some of the top teams in the state. They're 2 of the top 3 teams, at least standing wise, in the state. So, Exeter faced the best going into the tournament. So hopefully that'll give them some motivation and some idea of what they need to do better once the tournament begins here next week.
Now, in Division II boys lacrosse, the Winnicott Warriors take the top spot, 15-1. Derryfield right behind them at 14-2. Portsmouth 14-3 in third spot. Oyster River Newmarket 11-3, and then the St. Thomas Saints at 10-6. You know how you can break that down for us?
Yeah, again, a very strong Seacoast representation there with 5 teams there in the top 6. The only non-Seacoast team there in the top of the standings is Derryfield, who's always there at the end. Winnicott had lost its season opening game to Portsmouth, and then they ended the season with 15 straight wins, and they clinched the number 1 seed in the tournament with their 18-5 win at St. Thomas on Wednesday. So head coach Pat Snow has the Warriors playing extremely good lacrosse right now, and they lost in the semifinals to Portsmouth last year. And Chad Fisher is always there at the end, head coach of the Clippers. They're your 2-time defending Division II state champion. So Portsmouth's always there. Derryfield's always there. But I think this year might be the year where Winnicott, and don't count out Oyster River. Oyster River's been playing very well lately as well. And right now I believe they're the 4 seed going in. And they end their seed. They were supposed to play Derryfield yesterday. I have not got a result on that. But before that, they entered that game with 8 straight wins. So first-year head coach Brennan McKenna, a former assistant with the Bobcats in previous years, in his first year as head coach, he has the Bobcats playing very well, and they're definitely a team to watch out for once the Division II tournament starts next week.
And in Division III, the leader of the pack is Co-Brown Northwood. Just right now, they've got an undefeated season. I believe it's 16-0 as I'm reading here. In girls lacrosse, now let's go to Division I. Portsmouth Clippers, undefeated, top spot.
And I think that's going to stay that way, Sherm. I don't think there's a team in Division I that can stay with JoJo, now Kerrigan, or he used to be JoJo Coro. Now it's JoJo Kerrigan after she got married last summer. So I think the only team that could play with them is Sauhegan, and I believe that is the team her sister is the head coach of. And they met in the third game of the regular season, and Portsmouth came out with an 11-5 win. And the thing with Portsmouth is they're two-time defending state Division I champion. I believe their win streak right now is at 41. Coach Kerrigan believes the state record for all-time consecutive wins is held by Londonderry, and she believes that number's 59. So I would be shocked if Portsmouth does not win its third straight Division I championship this year. And when Coach Kerrigan submits her scores to me after every game, it seems like at least one girl hits a milestone, whether it be 100 goals, 200 goals, 200 assists, 300 total points. Last night in their last game, they had a girl, Ginger Vinciguerra. She had in a 16-4 win yesterday against Bishop Girton. Vinciguerra got her 300th draw control of her career. So it just seems like every game there's some girl hitting a new milestone. And I joke with Coach, I said, when she doesn't give me whoever didn't get a milestone, I joke that it's kind of surprising that no one get a milestone in that game. They're just a strong team top to bottom, and I'd be shocked if they don't win a third straight title here.
I remember the two sisters coaches going after each other in the championship round last year. I remember that from Bill Ball Stadium. Pinkerton,
Sauhegan, correct? Isn't that
that's right.
Her sister coaches Sauhegan.
That's right. Yep. Two sisters on the sideline. Yeah. Friendly competition until
bragging
game time.
Thanksgiving table bragging rights there.
Pinkerton is right behind Sauhegan. Exeter, the Bluehawks, 12-6. Nashua South right behind them at 10-6. I would say from what I've seen of the Bluehawks, they've got some real up-and-coming players, and they have a chance. But like you say, I think the Clippers and Sauhegan are the two teams that are going to probably wind up in the end. But they're, again, on a given day, and what motivates the team.
Can happen.
Yeah. And anything about the Bluehawks you can throw at us?
Yeah, they had a very good season. I think they were 12-6. They ended the season with 3 straight wins. Their sophomore Riley Benavides, she's had a great year. She's already reached 100 goals for her career in a very short amount of time. So they're playing very well, and they're strong. They get Phoebe Christensen, who scores multiple goals every game. Raquel Battle, same thing. Claire Wilhelm. They're very strong as well. And the two games that they faced against those top teams, Sauhegan beat them 11-4 in the second game of the season. And then Portsmouth really was a difference maker there. Portsmouth beat Exeter 18-5. So Exeter's had a very good year. As we've said, I think there's Portsmouth and Sauhegan, the top two teams. And I think there's a lot of very good teams just below that top two teams of Portsmouth and Sauhegan.
I think Coach Palmer for the Bluehawks just has to go out and keep everybody loose. I mean, just go out there and play your game. You mentioned two of the key scorers that they have on that team, or 3 or 4. They just got to go out there and just don't get into their heads. Just go out there and have some fun and play the game, and good things might happen and should happen. In Division II, you got Timberlane with the top spot, but you got the Winnicott Warriors right behind them in Division II. Tell us about the Warriors.
Yeah, Winnicott won last year's state championship game. They are, I believe their season is, I think they have one more game today against Merrimack. They enter the game 13-3. They beat Division I Londonderry yesterday 8-6. Of their 3 losses, all 3 of their losses have come against Division I teams. I know that Winnicott head coach Glenn McKenzie really likes to play those top Division I programs outside of their typical Division II schedule. So they went undefeated in Division II this season, and they also had other Division I games. They beat Londonderry. They beat Bedford 9-5. They lost to Exeter 11-10. They lost to Portsmouth 16-3, which kind of I thought Winnicott was going to maybe give them a little bit more of a battle than that, but I think it's Winnicott is the favorite to go back-to-back this year in Division II girls lacrosse. Timberlane is a team that's right now the top seed, or they're number one in the standings because they haven't played the Division I teams like Winnicott has. And when those teams met in the regular season, Winnicott won 15-8. So Timberlane may be the top of the standings right now, but I think Winnicott is the favorite going into the tournament next week.
And for Division III girls lacrosse, you've got St. Thomas Aquinas at 14-2. The Saints, anything on them?
Yeah, they're strong, and they won. I think we had a Seacoast sweep last year with Portsmouth winning Division I and Winnicott winning Division II. And I believe, if I recall correctly, St. Thomas won last year at Division III, and they're playing very strong. They're 14-2. They got some very good players. They got a girl named Tallulah Gregg who's scored more than 200 goals in her career, and just a very strong team. And there's two teams ahead of them that have only lost one game. I think that's Bow and Hopkinton. Bow beat St. Thomas 13-12 earlier in the season, and St. Thomas lost to Hopkinton 15-10. So those are the only two losses. Those are the only they were competitive against the teams that are ahead of them in the standings. So St. Thomas coming in, and those were their only two losses. I'm sorry. I think they have a very good chance to win Division III again this year.
Do you have anything quickly on tennis? How that is going?
Yeah, that started the other day. I think Portsmouth girls have a very good chance in Division II. A colleague of mine, Brandon Brown, he had a story that ran, I think it was Wednesday, where he gave his top 5 teams that could potentially win a state championship in tennis, whether it be boys or girls. And he had Portsmouth girls listed there. St. Thomas boys in Division III, they're very strong, and they lost in the semifinals last year. They have the best player in all of New Hampshire with Aaron Mulder. It's the two Mulder brothers are number 1 and 2. Then their dad is the head coach. So I think for tennis, you have Exeter and Dover boys play today, weather permitting, at 2:00 in Dover. That's the 4-5 game. I think either one of them could get to the championship game. Portsmouth is the 2 seed in Division II. I think they have a very strong chance to not only get to the championship game, but to win. Their only loss on the season was against Sauhegan, the defending state champion, and that was only 5-4. So they could easily find one match where maybe they can win. And then Portsmouth boys is the number 4 seed in Division II. They have a chance to get to the finals. And then, as I said, St. Thomas boys is the clear favorite to win Division III boys this season. They're strong. So I think there's multiple teams that could win state championships in tennis from the Seacoast this year.
And girls tennis, just to give people a quick view of that, in Division I, the Bedford Bulldogs, the number 1 seed, took out the Exeter Bluehawks, and the final there was 8-1. And so Bedford goes to the semis. Hanover knocked out Keene, and it'll be Hanover against Bedford in the semifinal round in the upper bracket. Bottom bracket, number 2 Derryfield, they took out Salem, and the number 3 seed Bishop Girton beat Dover, and this is the girls' tennis. So it'll be Derryfield versus Bishop Girton in the Division I girls tennis tournament. All right. And anything else on tennis at all, or are we all set there?
No, I think we covered everything there. I would expect a couple of our teams to win. So we'll see what happens.
I want to take a look back at an article you had a couple of days ago. The Seacoast Tournament of Champions, the Exeter Bluehawk boys and girls both had a big day.
Yeah, they both won the Seacoast Track Championships, Exeter boys and girls. So they did very well. And the top 6 from each of the events move on to the Meet of Champions the following week, and then after the Meet of Champions, the top finishers in all those events move on to the New England. So we got I think 3 more big meets for both boys and track before the year's out, and I would expect Exeter girls to do well in the Division I state meet, as well as the Meet of Champions, and I'm sure they'll have a strong contingent advancing to the New Englands as well.
And I just want to mention one other sport that is in tournament time right now, and that's the co-ed Unified Volleyball Division I. It's Oyster River, the number 1 seed. They'll be taking on the Dover Green Wave in the finals. That, I think, gives us an update of where we stand. Again, there's no official brackets out for baseball, lacrosse yet, so we'll get back to everybody on that. Anything for the 2-minute drill, my friend?
Hopefully the Red Sox can get it going and start playing competitive baseball. We easily could be facing the next 4 months of meaningless baseball in the city of Boston, and no one wants that. So hopefully they can get some bats going. Their pitching has been very good, so hopefully they can turn it around and see what happens. I
guess for the 2-minute drill, I just want to say, first off, thank you again to you, Jay. This trip with you, wow, awesome. If you're a real baseball fan, those are great seats. They're worth the investment. And then from what you told me what they cost, it's an investment for sure.
Yes, I'm very fortunate to have that, to be one of a handful of people to have that pass. So I'm very thankful for that, and I take advantage of that when I can.
Well, and we were fortunate that night the people who were in those seats didn't show up, so you and I look like we were the owners sitting out there, man. Yeah. We had space between us.
Yeah, we were the high rollers that night.
And I'll never forget it. I really, really, really appreciate the chance to go and also to be there with a real baseball fan. You know, some people go and take those seats, and they're just there for kind of like to say they were on the monster. Yeah. You know, you and I are baseball fans. We're baseball guys. I also want to thank Dave O'Brien for giving us time before and after the game. I mean, there's a great guy, and we'll do a State of the Red Sox with him during the All-Star break. I guess that about does it. And, onwards we go to the playoffs of baseball and lacrosse and all the different sports here in the state of New Hampshire. And so on behalf of Jay Pinsonnault, and you can catch his byline on SeacoastOnline.com, part of the Seacoast Media Group. This is Sherm Chester inviting you to join us for the next edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum podcast.